All right, this is just a really quick video to discuss what are your backup site options if your red dot site fails. All right, so this is a $200 red dot. If you see my other videos, you'll know that I basically don't truly, based on previous experience, I don't really trust electronic sites that are below a certain cost point. So far, this one is holding up. It's been through a number of exercises. It's killed a number of deer. It's been through um, a lot of garbage. So at this point, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, I totally trust my life to this, but I am saying it's held up for now. So that's pretty cool. It's the Sig Romeo 7. Now, for anybody who has put a less expensive red dot sight on their rifle, their duty rifle, what are some options if your red dot sight goes down? So this has a front sight post on there. And the very first option, if I'm in a bad situation and this site poops the bed, this also has shake awake on it. So theoretically, the dot shuts off, and then if I pick it up, the dot turns on. I don't really trust that technology, not in a real way, but it's there, it's sort of nice. So what happens if that technology fails me, or if the site for some reason poops the bed? All right, this is a big tube. There's not a lot of difference between a big tube and the aperture on the rear sight. So step one in a really bad situation is take the front sight, center it in the middle of the tube, and get work done. Option number two, which is part of why I have a rear sight on this, is if there's a lot of moisture that accumulates on the rear sight, I can remove it. This does have a quick detach, and then I can run irons, which, especially with the large aperture on the rear sight, that is very resistant to the problems that come up with rain, with snow, with things like that. And so if I have the time and I need to make a shot, I have the irons available, and I have both a small aperture and a large aperture for low light and precision shooting. So large aperture for low light conditions, small aperture for precision shooting in when there's lots and lots of light. So those are some things. The really important thing that I wanted you to take away is if you are in a situation where you have a less expensive red dot and it does, for whatever reason, poop the bed, then you do have a tube that is basically a rear aperture that you can then use with your front sight post and then go ahead and continue to get work done. And that is effective to within a relatively short distance, um, but it's good enough, say to 10, 15 yards. And if you absolutely have to be getting work done within that range, you have an option. And then if for whatever reason you have problems and those problems are farther away, um, I always recommend having a backup rear iron on there, especially if you have a less expensive red dot. Um, and that may be a controversial opinion, and people can definitely share their own thoughts on that. But again, you can definitely see that based on my experience, I don't recommend less expensive red dots. This one I can commonly find for about $200. And I'm also saying that, like, hey, after I think a year and a half or so, it is holding up. It has been through multiple training classes. It has been through patrolling classes. It is holding up. It's been through several hunting seasons at this point, and it is doing pretty good so far. I am happy with that. But if you're like me and you don't really trust the technology, you got options.